Okay, so you should be watching this video for your remote day. It's basically going to be a little lesson. We're going to walk through the directions together because I want to clarify some things. So take a second, pause the video, write out the spell work, the SWEBOT, and your full answer to the question. And then for prayer today, you can look over these virtues: temperance, fortitude, justice, and prudence, faith, hope, and love. Take a second to reflect on which one you'd like to grow in this week. Okay, and the black words help to define what each word means. All right, a quick thing about the Unit 1 test, weather and climate. You all did very well. I just want to go over a couple of clarifications that many people might need. So most of you did really well on the front, kind of matching definitions, and on this first 2 pages, matching definitions, so that was good. A couple of clarifications with 17 and 18 about the Coriolis effect. Which way did the wind want to move? Kind of asking about what hot air does. So it rises, where does cold air go? How do they replace each other? How do they keep moving in a cycle? Things like that. And then 18 was directionally, where do they move? So do they, some of you got east, or some of you got towards the equator, but most of you didn't get, or most of you got both, but some of you didn't get both. So, and that is due to the Earth's rotation. So those were 3 important words I was looking for: rotation, east, and towards the equator. And then for this one, for number 20, everyone put hurricane, so great job. And then I was looking for the many different steps to a hurricane forming. So it was 5 points, so you had plenty of opportunities to get some points. The wind spiraling around the eye because of the Earth's rotation, gaining energy from wind and water, the heat there, okay? And then this last one on number 21, in Oklahoma there's wind and rain for 6 straight days. That was the most important part. The storm does not need to be moving anytime soon. That was a stationary front. And then number 22, light warm air is the one moving towards heavier colder air. So some of you got that confused with a occluded front, and it was supposed to be a warm front. So make sure you understand the definitions of an occluded front, which the same people who got confused on number 22 kind of got confused on number 24 what an occluded front actually is. So an occluded front is actually warm air moving, but then cold air coming in behind it, and that's the most important part, and kind of overtaking it. Okay, and then pushing the warm air up, and then that creates an occluded front. Okay, so those are some clarifications of the test. If you have any more questions, please let me know. You cannot do corrections on the test. All right, the next part of the video is going to be going over the performance assessment, which is actually the assignment for your remote day this week. It is going to go in as a big grade, so please make sure to put some time and effort into this. Okay, we are finishing up the unit on weather and climate, so we're on our last goal, SWEBOT. Students will be able to analyze the atmospheric causes of weather, which is kind of an overview of all the goals we've already done. And it kind of finalizes the unit for us. Okay, so it's one final big assignment after the test, and it'll help balance out that test grade. Okay, so for this, I need you to go and collect the same notes that you used for the weather and climate test last week, and then think about the question while we go through this performance assessment. Think about the question, how can I use information specifically from our unit that we learned to answer these questions, okay? So there's a way to answer these questions kind of vaguely and as if you are just kind of acting it out and it's kind of funny. You can answer the questions, but if you use scientific information from our classes and from our notes, you'll get more points, okay? So here is the PA. We're going to go over it together, basically the whole thing. So you can either print this and write on it, or you can fill it out electronically, whatever you're more comfortable with. I always think handwriting is great, but electronically, if you want to do that, that's totally fine as well. Okay, so this is an email setup. So you're pretending to be a storm chaser. Okay, so that's what this assignment is. You're pretending to be a storm chaser. You are getting an email. So it says to stormchaser@CristaRaySt.Martin.org. You're getting an email from Scared of the Storms at Houston. Okay, so it's a group. They sent you an email that says Storm Chase Now on August 15th, 2017. Okay, so think about that date. And it says, hello, thank you so much for providing us your email after the brief meeting at the conference last week. As we mentioned, there are some upcoming storms that are giving us a little bit of unease, and we need your help. We know your team is the top storm chasing team in the country, and we need you to give us some details about Hurricane Harvey as it approaches. Please be prepared for future emails and respond promptly with as much information as you can give. We cannot brave these storms, but we believe you can. Happy storm chasing. Cheers, the storm avoiders. So this is kind of a funny setup. Basically, you're going to answer the questions of these storm avoiders, and you're going to be kind of an expert on storm chasing and on this Hurricane Harvey, and you'll get some points for answering their questions with information from our unit. Okay. So here's the first email that has something you can respond to. So it's again to you, Storm Chaser at Cristo Rey St. Martin. It's from Scared of the Storms. It's called Hurricane Harvey, all caps. Date August 26th, 2017. It says, Storm Chasers, Hurricane Harvey has just hit land. We are in Houston and we don't know what to do. We are not prepared. Below is a bulleted list of things we need from you. So look at this list. This is where it gets really important. This is stuff you need to respond with where you'll get points, okay? It says, plot the data provided on the tracking chart to follow the hurricane from ocean to land. Respond in an email 5 sentences that mentions 1, where the hurricane started and where it headed, 2, what caused this hurricane out in the middle of the ocean in the first place, and 3, what we should do in Houston to stay safe, okay? So if you answer these 3 questions with information from class, you'll be good to go on this assignment, okay, on this email. So the first thing you're going to do, it says respond soon. Thank you, storm avoiders. P.S. Attached is the hurricane data. So here's the hurricane data, Hurricane Harvey data, latitude and longitude. This is even easier than the points that we were using a couple weeks ago to plot Hurricane Harvey. These are straightforward. These are whole numbers. So you're going to use these points right here, these 8, 10 points or whatever, to go, if you go to classwork for today, to go to the PDF right here, you have to pull it up and print this and plot those data points. Or you don't have to print it, you can plot them by editing the PDF, as long as you plot all the points that were given, okay? Just a reminder about plotting. Here's, hold on. Latitude. These are latitude on the side here. Latitude, so 13 would be in the middle here, and these are longitude up top. So make sure those are longitude, they're going up and down. Okay, so make sure you plot it in the correct way, and since it's Hurricane Harvey, you know that the dots are going to be going towards Houston if you're doing it correctly, okay? So that's part 1, you're going to plot those, and then you're going to answer your professional response email to the Storm Avoiders team right here. You're going to respond in an email professionally, so you can start it with Dear Storm Avoiders, etc., etc. And you're going to answer these questions that they said to give, okay? And then that's the first email. All right, and there's multiple emails like that, so we're going to go through all of them. Okay, the next one is to you again. The subject is so much rain, and it's on September 1st. So it says, Storm Chasers, the hurricane is over, but the rain is unending. It has been raining for almost a week now, nonstop. The storm will not move. It just seems to be hanging over us. We have some questions that we would like you to answer. Please respond in an email, 5 sentences, that answers all of the following questions. Okay, here's another thing. Get your notes out. Make sure you answer all of these questions fully from our unit. Okay, so the first one is, what kind of weather front causes rain like this, staying in the same place for several days? How does this work? Is there cold or warm air moving, both or neither? We don't fully understand how this works. What could occur if this storm does not break up? How should we be prepared? How can the community help us in this time of need? Okay, thank you for your quick response. Sincerely, the Storm Avoiders. P.S. Please draw the symbol for the weather front through Houston so that we can share it with everyone on the news. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. You have to answer all these questions in your response using your notes from class and using your understanding of what happens in this type of weather front, okay? And then you also have to draw the symbol on Houston so it can be shared with everyone in the news. So your response goes here to those questions in an email. And down here, you're either going to drag the correct symbol into Houston, or you're going to draw it in there if you printed it, okay? All right, and then I think this is the last email, okay? The last email says, subject humidity, September 7th. So this is much later after the hurricane has passed. Storm chasers, last question, quick response. The storm is gone, thank goodness. Most of the people of Houston are safe, but now we are left with a lot of humidity in the air and a lot of wind after the storm. Please respond with just a couple of sentences explaining to us what causes this humidity and wind. Thanks, the storm avoiders. And you respond very professionally here. And so you just write a couple of sentences explaining what causes humidity and wind. Okay, so you're basically going to go look at your humidity and wind notes, write a couple sentences in your own words here. All right, and that's the whole thing. So it's 3 professional emails. It's a decent amount of work. It is a big grade, and it uses your notes from the entire unit so far, from the entire year. So please make sure to collect the notes you think you need and answer these questions to the best of your ability. Okay, don't just make stuff up, and it'd be really helpful to have all your science notes with you. Okay, here's the rubric I'll use to grade. Okay, so for the first hurricane plotting, over here is 5. All 8 data points are plotted correctly, and I can give you something in between if it's not 8 and they're not plotted correctly. Email response about hurricanes. So the first email response, it needs to include information about Hurricane Harvey movement, what causes a hurricane, and safety, 5 complete sentences. Email response about weather front includes information about type of front, air movement for that type of front, community help, 5 complete sentences. And then the last email is clear expectation of humidity and wind, 2 full sentences, okay? So if you hit all of these bullet points, which were mentioned in the emails, you'll get a 5 on everything, okay? This is worth double, so if you get a 5, you actually get a 10. This email response is worth double, so you'll get a 10 points there. This response is worth 5 because it's the shortest, and then the hurricane plotting is worth 5. I also don't know if I put it in here, but you will also get points on the weather front, correct weather front on symbol. Okay, so that's going to go in this one on Texas. All right. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to chat me. Feel free to email me. Ask me in class this week. But basically, this is due Friday, and it is a big grade. And hopefully, you get to enjoy it a little bit. Hopefully, it's a fun way to use your unit notes and your unit knowledge on weather and climate. And then you can go back to the, so you're going to spend, that's going to be the most part of the remote day. You're going to spend 30 to 40 minutes on this. Remember to plot data, annotate the required drawings, include all bulleted information, and you need full sentences, 5, 5, and 2 for each email. Okay? And then the last thing is when you're done with that, you can pause this video or you can go to the slides and answer the exit ticket in a private comment on Google Classroom to me. If you were a storm chaser, what weather would you most like to chase? Tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, floods, fires, etc. and why? So that can be just one sentence, and that's a quick little exit ticket for today. Okay, have fun.